Okay, so the next section here, after the exponents, the order of operations, is the inequality symbols. So we're going to look at inequality symbols and statements and see the difference between them. So that's number 3. That would be inequality symbols. What we mean by that are these. So greater, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So these are what we call inequality symbols. They're not for equality. For equality, we use the equal sign. That's equal. For inequality, we use these, or we use this symbol also. This means n equal to, or not equal to. Okay? This is not equal to. When you say, for example, 7 and 5, you say 5 is not equal to 7. So all these are symbols of inequality. So let's see the difference between all of them. Let's start with the first one. So the first one is greater than. So greater than is this symbol. Something strictly greater than. For example, let's say, so if he said, give me a number x that's greater than 3, where would you start from? X greater than 3. Give me any number. What was the first number you would start from for that? Numbers that are greater than 3. Give me, like, if they said, give me numbers that are greater than 3, what's the first number that comes to mind? It will be, give me a number that's greater than 3, bigger than 3.
5.
5.
What's the first one you would start from?
4.
Start from 4, right? So you say 4, or 5, 6, and so on. Any number from 4 and up is basically true for this inequality statement. This is an inequality statement here. So now, what if I said, give me a number that's greater than or equal to 3?
A number that's greater than 4 but equal to 3?
So this one was greater than 3, strictly greater than 3. We started from 4. But if we said, give me a number that's greater than or equal to 3, which number would you start from?
3.
Exactly, from 3. That's the difference between greater than and greater than or equal to. Here, you can't start from 3 because this means basically strictly greater than 3. So you got to jump to 4. But he said, if I said, give me a whole number that's greater than or equal to 3, so 3 is first. That's the first one to start from, then 4, and 5, and so on. So that's basically the difference between that symbol and that letter symbol. That letter thing means or equal to, means you can start from that number itself. This one means do not start from this number, jump to the next one. So greater than, and also this one is greater than or equal to. The second one. So greater or equal That's what this symbol is, greater than or equal to. Letter line looks an equal sign, so we say or equal to this number. Same way, let's do another example. So give me a number greater than, let's say 8. What's the first number?
9.
All numbers, right? 9, 10, and so on. So that's an inequality statement. What if I said x, give me a number x that's greater than or equal to 8. The first number you start from is
8.
8. So when you see this, it means start from that number itself, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Same idea applies to less than. So greater than facing that way, less than facing the other way. So less than, and the symbol is like this. So if that helps, you can think of these as, when you put them next to each other, this kind of looks like 4, this kind of looks like 7. If you're confused or if you forgot which one is which, so if you look at these, 4 is less than 7, right? So that's how you know this is the symbol for less than. And this one looks like 7. So 7 is greater than 4. So that's how you remember that this one is a symbol for greater than. So a lot of people confuse these. So you can always do this. So again, this looks like 4. This looks like 7. That's how you know which one is greater, which one is less. So give me x less than 6. If I said give me numbers that are less than 6.
5.
And start from 5. Strictly less than 6. That's right. You start from 5. What's the next one?
4.
That's right. So we go in down with less than. So a number that's less than 6, that's 5. Anything less than that is also fine. 3, and so on. What if I said give me numbers x that are less than or equal to 6? What's the first whole number you would give me?
6.
6 itself. So x less than or equal to 6. Whenever you see or equal to, start from that number itself. Either go down if it's less or go up if it's greater than. So this is 5, 4, and so on. So that's basically the meaning of those symbols. Okay, what else? So now we see comparing. Let's see how to compare fractions. Or compare fractions like this. Fractions usually, for example, 1 over 5 compared to 3 over 10. So when you see fractions like this, it's not easy to compare. You can't just look at this 1 and 3 and decide. Instead, we need to turn them into new fractions with the same denominator. We're going to try to find an LCD, then make these into new fractions with the same LCD. Once we have the same denominator, we can just look at the numerator to compare fractions. What is the common denominator for 5 and 10?
5.
Not 5, the number that they both can go into.
Oh, a number that.
What is it?
A number that 5 and 10 could both go into?
Yes, they're a common denominator. They both go into
15.
not 15, no.
They both go into 10.
10. 10 is the least common denominator, that's right. So we're going to turn both of these into 10. So what do? You just grab a pen here. Where's my pen? Red pen. Okay, so to turn this into 10, we times it by
2.
By 2, and here by 2. This one is already 10, so we don't need to multiply it. So this will be 2 over 10 if we times these, and this stays the same. Now that we have the same denominator, we can tell which one is less than what. So 2 over 10 is what compared to 3 over 10?
Is less than.
That's right, because 2 is less than 3, so we can say less than. But don't do that until you make the denominator the same. So that's the key when comparing fractions. You want to make sure that the denominators are the same. Otherwise, it will be hard to tell unless you divide them. Divide the two fractions and get the decimals or something. Okay, so turn all your fractions into the same denominator before you compare them. The other thing we're going to talk about now is some translations, as we said in the beginning. We're going to see how to to translate some symbols or some expressions into symbols. This would be, let's see, okay, so we saw the inequalities, we did the order of operations, translate word, translate statements into symbols. So basically what we're going to do now is sometimes you have expressions into written as words, translating expressions. Words or sentences to expressions or symbols. Symbols. So that means is sometimes you see, and not always do you see everything written in numbers and symbols and operations. It might be written as expression, as sentences. So that's when you translate the sentence first. And when you translate it, you can then simplify it. We can do any operations with it that you need to. So starting from what we just saw, let's say 3 might be written like this. So 3 not equal to 7. How do you write this in an expression instead of a sentence? What is a symbol for not equal to? So this is a symbol for not equal to. So you say 3 not equal to. It's an equal sign, but with a slash through it, and 7. So this whole sentence translates into this. Or if you see any of these written as sentences, for example, so say 2 is greater than, let's say 0. Okay, so as it sounds, we write exactly the sound. So 2 greater than is just this without the line, then 0. Or if you see a sentence with 8 is less than, or equal to 10. So this whole sentence can be simplified into a very short and nice expression. So 8 is less than or equal to. So this whole thing here again translates to this, less than or equal to. Whenever you say or equal to, add that little line, 10. And less than, greater than, or any other combination or possibility. So it could be any other way. Basically, just remember these main symbols here for comparison, and this one also for inequality, or for inequality. I believe that's about it, but let me add a couple more translations that I don't see here. Okay, other than this, it could be something like this. Let's say 3 added 2, 5 multiplied by 2. That's an order of operations. So 3 added to 5 multiplied by 2. So to simplify this, let's first translate it. So obviously 3 translates to 3, added, that's addition, multiplication. So if you write this, how do you write this as an expression, as an order of operations?
3 plus 5 times 2.
3 plus, that's 3, right?
5
Plus 5, right?
times 2.
Times 2. And when you simplify this, what do you evaluate first? According to the order of operations?
Multiplication, 5 times 2.
That's right. As we said earlier, 10 does, so that's 10.
Plus 3,
And
13.
3, that's 13. What about, let's say, the quotient? Quotient of 10 and 2 multiplied by 3. So let's translate first, okay? And then simplify. How would you simplify? How would you translate this? First, you want to translate each word. What do we mean by quotient?
Quotient is division.
That's right. Quotient is the result of division. When you say the quotient of two numbers, that means their division. And of course, this is multiplication here. All you have to do is write this in one expression and simplify it. So how do you write the first part, the quotient of 10 and 2? How do you write that in symbols and numbers?
10 divided by 2.
Exactly, 10 divided by 2, then multiply 3.
Times 3.
That's right. And when
You
you,
do the multiplication first.
which one?
The multiplication you do first.
You divide.
We divide first. So we said earlier, when we have when we have division and multiplication next to each other,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
in order, okay, left to right. So we're going to do the left first. That's 5 times 3, which is 10. So these are the
15.
key ones. I'm sorry, 13. These are the key ones. Remember these keywords: quotient, multiplication, of course. Of course, you may see decreased, increase. So decrease, that's for subtraction. Increase for addition. What else? Any other forms of, or simply you can just see divide this, divide this. Let's do another one here. So say 2 increased by the, let's say, the sum of 3 and 4. So 2 increased by the sum of 3 and 4. This translates again word by word. Again, increased means to increase. Addition, to increase something is the opposite of decrease, so addition. On the sum of two things, what do you do to get the sum of two things? What is the operation?
You add.
You add, that's right, the sum. When you subtract, what do you call that? If the sum is for addition, what is the result of subtraction? When you subtract two numbers, what do we call that?
You take away.
That again, get closer to the microphone.
Minus?
Minus is the operation, yes. Subtract is also an operation, but what's the result? When you subtract two numbers, what do we call that result? For example, when we add two numbers, the result is called the sum or the total. But when you subtract
Right.
them, starts with a D. When you subtract two numbers, the result is called what?
I don't know.
The difference.
Oh,
The difference. When it says find the difference of these numbers means subtract them. Okay, let's do this one and then do another one with the difference. So 2 increased, so basically 2 increased by the sum of these numbers. So the sum, we're going to need to put that in parentheses. So the sum of 3 plus 4. So 2 increased by the sum. So when you see sum or product or difference or something like that, so you have to put whatever it is in parentheses. So that's the sum. And this is for this. Then you do the parentheses first, that's 7, 2, and 9. Let's say 3 times the product of 3 times, not the product, but let's say the difference. 3 times the difference of 7 and 5 raised to the second power. Okay, so 3 times the difference of 7 and 5 raised to the second power. So basically, you're going to translate word by word. So 3 times, again, that's a multiplication. 3 times means 3 multiply or 3 times something. Times what? Times the difference. What is difference again?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. So difference has to be like this.
Minus 5.
Sum here, sum here. So the difference between what and what?
7 minus 5.
That's right, 7 and 5. Raised to the second power. So this whole thing is raised to second power. Or 3 times the difference of, okay, so I don't need this comma here. This is a grammar issue. If I keep the comma here, that means the whole thing to the second power. But for now, I just mean this raised to the second power, this raised to the second power, as opposed to the whole thing to the second power. So let's rewrite the expression. So 3 times, you can write that times here, or you can just write the parentheses. So it's 3 times the difference of 7 and 5 raised to the second power. This multiplication is optional. You can just say 3 parentheses 7 and 5. Okay, when you evaluate this, what do you do first?
Parentheses.
Parentheses, that's right. So we're going to evaluate this. 7 take away 5.
2.
That's 2 to the second power. What? This thing is weird. 3. Again, you don't need that multiplication here. We know it's an implicit multiplication here when we have parentheses. What do you do after that?
2 times 2, and you get 4.
That's right, 4 keep this multiplication here with parentheses.
Times 3.
12. Okay, so be careful with your translation, especially the keywords, quotient, increase, decrease, less than, add, subtract, more than. More than, by the way, means plus if you see it in a sentence. If you said 3 more than, or more, 5 or more than 5, it just means addition. Same thing with subtraction, you may say 3 less 7 or 3 less something. So translate your sentences first correctly. Once you translate them, then you use the order of operations. So expressions are not always written like this. Sometimes it could be a word problem that you need to read, understand, translate correctly, and then solve. And that's pretty much all for the order of operations and exponents today, as well as their translation. So you see, you'll see a bunch of exercises and practice problems in the homework. So work on that, watch and rewatch this as needed, and get started with the homework. And if you have any questions, you can either join the discussion board, or you can take notes for the next class. So in the beginning of next class, remind me in the beginning of our Zoom class, and if you have any questions from the previous lectures or homeworks before we move on to something new. Okay, everyone, any questions, any concerns?
No, Professor.
Okay, Laura, I know you came in late, halfway through. Make sure you watch this. I'm gonna post this very soon. This is what you missed, basically the first part. And if you still have questions, just take notes and basically just ask in the discussion forum on Blackboard, or again, take notes for our next class.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
What else? So the homework on this is not posted yet. I'm gonna post this right away. I'm gonna post this and the new homework right away on Blackboard. So let's head over to the Blackboard, and I will show you a few things there, including so we're gonna join the discussion board, we're gonna see the homework and the lesson plan, as well as this video lecture that I will edit and post there momentarily, okay?
Okay.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
guys, let's head over to Blackboard.